in Zimbabwe, the years 2016 to 2023 are a memorial of the 7 years of famine during the time of Joseph. Not that it will not rain altogether. It's going to rain here and there, but the famine represents hardships. And so God has a purpose for doing everything that He does. But the year that I want to now emphasize on is this year, 2019, from April onwards, is going to be a time of restoration. Listen very carefully. God restores in times of trouble. That is God's order. He does His work of restoration in times of chaos and in times of trouble. And it's only a remnant, just a few people, who are going to be restored in this time frame. This year also, in 2019, is a year that God will speak to people like He has never ever spoken to them before. What is restoration? Restoration is to restore us back to what was supposed to be before men fell in Eden. And even to restore our lives, our prosperity, our wealth, our health. So 2019, April onwards, in Zimbabwe is a time for restoration. And that year is in between the 2016 to 2023, 7 years of famine or hardships. Well, you may ask, why am I showing you a container of Pepsi? This is now a sign you should watch. Now getting deep into language which is prophetic. God speaks to us through signs. I repeat, God speaks to us through signs, but our eyes need to be opened. In Zimbabwe, when Pepsi was big, it was in the 80s, and that obviously was a golden age in Zimbabwe, a time of prosperity. Oh, the 80s in Zimbabwe was so good. Then Pepsi disappeared from Zimbabwe for quite some time, and then Pepsi again has reappeared in Zimbabwe. Pepsi disappeared and has now reappeared in Zimbabwe. Why is this? It's a sign. And so these are now good times again. I'm sure it was last year, 2018, when Pepsi was properly commissioned in Zimbabwe. There's now a plant to make this drink here in Zimbabwe. You could ask me, good times when there's no petrol, good times when things are so expensive. Yes, I'm saying things are still good in Zimbabwe. Hold on. Things are still good. This is a sign to watch. Because this in Zimbabwe speaks about the golden age, the good times. Watch. But if this drink should disappear from the shops and the manufacturing stops altogether, I'm saying if, then it means we're now in times of hardships. I mean real hardships in this country. This is a sign to watch. I'm not saying it's going to disappear, but if it does disappear altogether from the shops and the manufacturing plants, it means we're now in times of real hardships. Which means God, He wants to give a memorial of the book of Genesis chapter 1. That is Genesis chapter 1. When there was a gross darkness, then God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God, He works in times of chaos and trouble. That is God. Why must God do this? Because God has got too much competition in Zimbabwe. God has got too much competition in Zimbabwe from the false prophets, from the many churches, from the people who sound philosophical and say they know God when they do not know God. So when God puts this nation into chaos, into darkness, it then comes forth and says, let there be light. You see, which means whatever will prosper in our lives in this nation is because of God. Whatever becomes outstanding in this nation is because of God. And so God is getting rid of the competition, the false prophets, the magicians. Yes, may I also say this? Not every man of God is a man of God. God will get rid of these things so as to give a memorial of the time whereby he was alone. He was a creator. He had no competition. And he has chosen this country, Zimbabwe, to fulfill his word. You will say things are hard. Yes, they're hard. But it's a blessing when God begins to fulfill his scriptures in our nation, Zimbabwe. So our nation is blessed, so blessed. So if you see Pepsi disappearing altogether, it means now things are hard. Things are still okay. I'm not saying Pepsi is going to disappear, but if it does disappear from the shelves and the manufacturing plant stops, it means it's now gross darkness. Then God can say, let there be light, and this shall be seen as the light himself, the only light upon the face of the earth. So we're going back to a time whereby God is no competition. You can support more work like this by going to http://goldenagesayings.xobor.com, or just visit the descriptive part of this video. God bless you.